The row over a pastor's comments about Muslims just keeps on growing. James McConnell was strongly criticised for saying he does not trust Muslims. But the First Minister, Peter Robinson, has now defended him. The DUP leader claims Pastor McConnell is being demonised.
The God we worship and serve this evening is not Allah, the Muslim God. Allah is a heathen deity. Allah is a cruel deity. Allah is a demon deity. A deity that this foolish government of ours, including the House of Windsor, that weather-beaten house, pays homage to and subscribes financial inducements to curry their favour and to keep them happy. Today we see powerful evidence that more and more Muslims are putting the Quran's hatred of Christians and Jews alike into practice. Now, people say there are good Muslims in Britain. That may be so, but I don't trust them. Enoch Powell was right, and he lost his career because of it. Enoch Powell was a prophet, and he told us that blood would flow in the streets, and it has happened. 15 years ago, Britain was concerned of IRA sales right throughout the nation. They'd done a deal with the IRA because they were frightened of being bombed. Today, a new evil has arisen. There are cells of Muslims right throughout Britain. Can I hear an amen? Right throughout Britain. And this nation is going to enter into a great tribulation and a great trial. To judge by some of what I have heard in the past few months, you would think that Islam was a little more than a variation of Christianity and Judaism. Not so. Islam's ideas about God, about humanity, about salvation are vastly different from the teaching of the Holy Scriptures. Islam is heathen. Islam is satanic. Islam is a doctrine spawned in hell.
He has clarified his comments. He has clarified it in the same way that I have. I wouldn't trust Muslims to give me spiritual advice. I wouldn't trust Muslims who are bombing and shooting. I wouldn't trust those who are following Sharia law to the letter, and neither would he. However, as I said, there are many of the normal daily activities of life that I would no difficulty in trusting a Muslim to go down to the shop for me, to give me the right change.
Are you touched that he stood up and fought for you?
Very touched indeed. But not only the Minister of Health stood up for me, Sammy Wilson stood up for me, Gregory Campbell stood up for me.
You've lots of friends within the DUP, don't you?
Yes.
Are you influential in that party?
No, I'm not influential. I don't even belong to that party.
Why are they rallying to your support then?
Because I think they believe in what I'm doing. They believe in my ministry. They believe me to be honest. They believe me to be sincere. And I think I would qualify what Peter has said, because he mentioned the Sharia law.
Sharia law, yeah.
Yes, and whatever way you want to pronounce it, I hear it pronounced that many times differently. And I do not trust a Muslim because they are governed by the Sharia law.
Tell him why you don't trust him.
I don't trust him as an individual because of his religion. He is governed by the Sharia law.
Bless you. You know, I mean, you're a man of God, and you're looking in my eyes. You don't know me. You don't know me at all. And you're telling me that you don't trust me. Okay, because of my faith, even though...
No,
because
of the Sharia law.
You're claiming that that's part of my faith. And even though you have no concept of what my faith actually is, what my faith asks me to do. And actually, the nub of the point is you have no idea about Sharia. And you have no idea of what.
So? Do you
yeah,
think
I do think so.
Oh, okay.
Because if you did know about Sharia, you would know actually, Sharia for me helps me govern my personal life. So what does Sharia law impact on me? It impacts me by saying, give 2.5% of your income to charity. It impacts me by saying, do you know what? The pastor has said very rude things about Muslims and been very hurtful, but do you know what? Make the effort. Go over and sit with him. I had a phone call on the way up here from a local Belfast resident, okay? A young lady. She said, please tell the pastor that when he spoke his words, since he spoke his words, I've had so much hate crime against me because it's been incited by what you said. Do you not get it? That instead of sitting, you're a man of God. Instead of sitting here and talking to me as one humanity, you're talking to me as if you're talking down to me. You're talking to me from an angle of hatred. You're talking to me from an angle of mistrust. It's not how it works. I have Jewish friends. I have Christian friends. I have friends from all over, from no faith. And you know what? When we sit together, we do things which have a positive impact on society.
If you were in Islam countries, could you have me as a Christian friend?
Oh my goodness. Right, first of all, let's just put this straight. When I'm not in an Islam country, as you call it.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm not in it. This is my country. This is my country. I abide by British law. This is my law. My Sharia tells me to abide by the law of the country I live in.
But Sharia law is coming into Britain.
Which world do you live in? Listen.
This world.
Listen, no, you don't.
This world.
You absolutely do not. I've already told you how Sharia governs my life. It governs my personal things, which have no impact on society. Please understand this.
You clearly have a level of influence, and you now have the support of the First Minister of this country. With that comes responsibility, right? And have you sat back and thought, since you issued this sermon, have you sat back and thought about the impact on local Muslims in this country, here in Northern Ireland? They have to send their kids to school. Right. They've got to go out to the shops.
Can I speak now?
Yeah.
Thank you. When I uttered that statement, there wasn't one Muslim in Northern Ireland in my mind. I qualified it by saying there were cell groups right throughout Britain, Muslim groups, ready to do violence. Just as there was cell groups of IRA in Britain, and the British were frightened that they would bomb it.
James, you also said Enoch Powell was right.
I did.
And you could not pick something that would be seen as a more racist comment, could you? Do you think that Enoch Powell and the Rivers of Blood speech was correct?
Yes, I believe it was, because it came to pass. What he said came to pass.
With your logic, Pastor, with greatest respect, with your logic, okay, you just talked about the IRA, and this is why this is doubly shocking, because we're sitting in a country which has been totally ripped apart by sectarian strife, okay? By your own logic, everybody in this audience, you know what, I don't trust you. You know what, I don't trust you. That's your logic. Okay? The Americans, don't trust any Americans. You know, 3,000 people, innocent people killed by drone strikes. Don't trust you.
When you say that you don't trust them, what does that actually mean? He's sitting here. What does it actually mean in terms of you don't trust him? And you used an example of if he was instructed to engage in violence.
Yes, if he was instructed to engage in violence by the Sharia law, he would do it.
Well, you need to reply to that immediately.
I know he's laughing at me.
Gosh,
you're laughing at me, but I'm not laughing.
Well, no,
because
you know
it's
what?
happening. By the way, that young woman had her baby this morning.
This is the young lady in Sudan, of course, which is at the heart of a story that's been talked about nationally. And this lady in Sudan
she's going to receive
has been sentenced to
lashes.
death, 100 lashes, and then sentenced to death. Do you support that?
No, not at all. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, why don't you protest then?
Right. And guess what? This is exactly my point. You don't know me. I have protested. Take that. I have protested. I've written. I've gone through Amnesty International. I've written to the Sudanese embassy. What do you want me to do?
Can you prove that to me?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Do you know what? I can prove that to you.
You're questioning his word.
I can prove that to you.
Are you questioning his word because he's a Muslim or because...
Because of the Sharia law.
Oh.
In fact, one friend phoned me and said, Jim McConnell, I've heard you say worse. The Muslims in Britain, that's the clarification of the statement. Cell groups throughout Britain. That's what I do not trust.
Right, so there are no Muslims in Northern Ireland following Sharia law.
It's an evil law. It's an evil law before God, and I say that in front of him. It's an evil law. He knows that, and it's right throughout the world.
You don't understand what Sharia law is. Sharia law is not a rigid set of rules, by the way, okay? Sharia law is supposed to be a flexible guidance, okay, which actually changes from country to country, from time to time, okay, number one. Number two, to say that those people were following Sharia law is ridiculous. And number three, it's got nothing to do with me here. I live in Britain. I follow British law. I would suggest that those of you who are saying that, you know, who don't really understand what Sharia is, read up about it, but don't go to the Daily Mail to read about Sharia law, for God's sake. OK, go to somewhere, go to your Muslim friends if you have them, or go somewhere reputable which can actually take you through the process.
I brand them untrustworthy because of this particular law, and I know you're shaking your head.
Which you know nothing about.
I know.
No, you don't.
I know much about it.
No, you don't.
I know much about it.
How influential do you think you are in your church over the people that come to your church?
Look, I'm only a pastor. I'm only a simple pastor. I pastor
Pretty big church.
Okay, I pastor 2,000 people. I preach the
Pretty
gospel.
big building.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got, what, the ex-finance minister, Sammy Wilson, as you've told me. Well, he sits there, he attends. You say that you've had the health minister supporting you. You've got the first minister's support today. You're only a pastor? What impact do you think this has, the message that's going across the water? You know, this story was on Channel 4 News tonight, for goodness sake.
Look, the impact is severe. I mean, even though in Northern Ireland there are a few Muslims, I think the impact on them should not be underestimated. I think you're very naive to think that your words do not have a direct impact on people.
But we're not allowed to criticise Islam in this country anymore.
No, that's not true at all.
Well,
that's not true. Nobody is saying.
It's thought by many that if you criticise Christianity, fair game. You criticise Islam, and all of a sudden there's uproar.
I will sit here.
That's a representative view.
It may well be, okay, but I'm sitting here and I'm telling you, you want to discuss religion with me, no problem. You can criticise my faith, you can criticise anything you want. Do not stereotype a whole community, because you may not pick up arms, okay, you may not hurt a head on shoulder, but do you know what? Other people will do that. And unfortunately, there are people who have contacted me from the local Muslim community who have already felt that pressure. And from a man of God, that is not good enough.
Let me go to Islam countries and let
Why
me testify.
do you keep bringing in Islam countries? It's got nothing to do with me.
It's true.
It's got nothing to do with me.
It has
it's got nothing to do with my faith.
It has to do with you.
No, it doesn't. I'm British.
Have to do with
I'm
you.
British, born
yes,
and
you're
bred.
British.
It's got nothing to do with me at all. Not even an iota. Yes, I might write to them like I would write to anybody else that Amnesty International might ask me to. It's nothing to do with me. I follow British law.
Tell me this, the loyalist killings that there's been in Northern Ireland, are you to blame for those?
No.
It's from your community. Why would he be any more to blame for killings or murder or violence from his community, but you're not to blame for anything in the loyalist community? It's pretty farcical, isn't it?
I'm saying he's not to blame, but what I'm saying is...
You don't trust me.
You said he's got a responsibility.
That's right. That's right. I don't trust you because you believe in the Sharia law.
We go again.
You're small in this country and you're growing in Britain.
Small in this country. This is my country. Do you know what? I have given to this country more than a lot of people have given. OK, I contribute to this country. It is my country. It's my Britain. OK, so don't take ownership of that from me. OK, this is my country. Thank you very much.
OK. Right.